Odd.
There's more to me than meets the eye. I am not for eating.
Sudden exhaustion washed over me. The day had been a surreal spectacle, scarcely to be comprehended by the sane mind. It had been melodious, soothing even. Not in the most detailed of tomes had I encountered mention of such a thing. But I'd know all about it soon enough. In 7 days, I'd be a Mindflayer myself, as if I didn't have enough problems already. No. I refused to accept it. If there was magic that held cities afloat, there had to be magic that'd wither a damn tadpole. Tomorrow I'd find it.
Wait. It's you. You're the one who tried to free me on the ship. At least, you made the effort.
Suddenly I saw what she saw, felt what she felt. Confusion, resolve, and a hint of gratitude.
Don't die, don't die, don't die!
The person they were trying to save. It was the creature from the ship, still alive but wounded. My voice cut through the fog of confusion. I felt the creature's hold on them wavering. As its influence waned, they clutched their heads, blinking in confusion. I approached the dying monster. This was the thing that had abducted me. I felt compassion. Compassion? The poor creature was on the brink of death, but there was still time. I'd have given my life to save it, nurse it back to health. But then the feeling slipped. The creature's mind seemed to focus elsewhere. Our minds fused, lusting for something that was gone. But then its grip clawed back with a vengeance, a vice locking my mind into obedience. It needed sustenance to survive, and with my very body I could provide. The monster lay exhausted, defeated. Its eyes, wet black pearls, radiated only malice. The monster's tentacles twitched weakly. It wouldn't last much longer.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, a guest.
My skull pounded in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips didn't move, yet I heard her voice. Selûne, the Moon Maiden. Selûne, Mother of Tides. Selûne, the Night White Lady. Here rests Moon Mistress Larinna, founder of Selûnite settlements along the Chiontha.
I can't do it.
Of course you can. It just takes time. I didn't become the Blade of Frontiers overnight.
The man's mouth bent downward as he turned, and his thoughts became mine. An unknown face commanded my mind. Rust-red skin, gnarled horns. And then I was myself once more.
Chuk! He is infected.
I'll be damned to the hells. You were on the ship.
The creature appeared again. Red skin, twisting horns, and wings stretching wide behind it. Our minds parted again, leaving my skull throbbing.
Ouch. Careful you don't push the brain bugs too far. They'll leave you hurting.
The child stared past me as if I wasn't there. The child continued staring past me. I didn't spot anything out of the ordinary. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the child move through the rocks. I found the edges of a concealed entrance. No trigger or handle, though. no way to open it. His eyes flicked to mine for an instant, then away, as if it hurt to look at me. I couldn't make sense of what he was saying. The child reached into the rocks behind him and opened a well-concealed hatch.
You bought something. Most everybody says it looks like junk and moves on. Oh, you have. You definitely have. Anyway, see you again sometime. Take care. Safe travels.
Just then, I noticed my bags felt lighter than before. I'd been robbed.
Just a moment. This man is recording my story. I am far from home.
The colourful man yelped in delight and started scribbling. With a shaggy grin, the bear sneaked a look at the page. His brow furrowed. Incomprehensible squiggles surrounded a crude sketch. A bear disemboweling a clutch of tieflings.
Come on. All the druids can understand me. You can. Why can't the man with the pen? I traveled a long way.
The man nodded thoughtfully and added another dismembered limb to his sketch. This grove is kept by Eldath's faithful.
I can know.
By Eldath, mother of the waters, all strife is cleansed. By Eldath, the quiet one, all turmoil is calmed. By Eldath, guardian of groves, all fear is soothed. The forest rose with claw and tooth, to tear the darkness from its roots. The mural showed druid and beast fighting together to drive monsters from their land. It looked like quite a battle, and yet the monsters had returned. By waters still neath watching trees, a hallowed place for Mother Peace. The scene showed druids blessing the grove for Mother Peace, a term for the blessed goddess Eldath. The fresco showed a powerful group of druids gathered in Eldath's name. I was on sacred ground. In darkest hour a concord made, twixt harp and wild against the shade. Harp and wild? I recalled stories of an alliance between druids and the harpers. Could this have been it? Harpers and druids, working together. A formidable force. The towers seized, the battle done. The moonrise broke the darkest one. Looking at the broken helmet, I recognized the mark of Shah. This army marched in her name. If that was true, moonrise must be a reference to Shah's divine sister Selûne. A victory of the celestial Selûne over her dark sister Shah. Something over there. At the back of the crevice lay a bag covered with spiders. A shiny gold coin poked from its mouth. The creatures clutched the pouch possessively. I had no doubt a spider egg was nestled within. One by one, the spiders retreated to the rear of the crevice, lulled by my murmurs. I stashed the bag. Something clinked among the coins. Several spiders rested in the rear of the crevice. The infuriated spiders crossed my hand and scaled my arm. The swarm was coming. This crevice was empty, save a bit of dust. The injured man locked eyes with me. A familiar squirming churned in my head. Useless. Our minds intertwined. I saw his siblings, Andric and Brynna. New recruits, mine to shepherd.
You too? What did you see? Huh. You enjoyed it? We had the same dream then. The worms trying to be enticing.
The blank look, the flat voice. He was holding something back.
No. No, I cannot. I cannot trust you, or them, or anyone but mine own self.
The cruel, beaked face of an owlbear loomed out of the darkness. Its one good eye flicked away for a moment. I followed its glance and saw an owlbear cub. The owlbear stared, then sharply inhaled my scent. It shuffled back, eyes still fixed on me, a silent ultimatum. I could leave now, or step closer and die. The dog tilted his head and whined softly in recognition. He turned and yapped to the corpse, as if to try and wake it. Around the dog's neck was a collar. Etched on it was a name, Scratch. A deep, sad whine escaped from the dog. He bowed his head. The dog whimpered and nuzzled my hand, as if to urge me on. The dog looked from me to his owner with a soft whine. He did not move from the corpse.
Now, as for this Raphael, he knows our secret. He claims he can help. What do you make of him?
Anticipation. She was testing me somehow. About Raphael.
Actually, yes, you're right. Very intuitive. Clearly the devil was trying to sow doubt among us. I know people who work much like our new acquaintance does.
Speak your name.
A magic mirror. Primitive contraptions, but they were not without their uses. The magic was old and wavering, but it was essentially an expensive lock hiding some secret. The face was crafted to be pleasing, but the personality was just a reflection of the wizard that created it.
Speak your name.
I did my best to wipe the dirt from my face and look presentable. Adventuring was murder on one's wardrobe, though.
Only a true ally of Ilintoth may pass. What think you of the Zolkir known as Zastan?
I recognized the name, of course. Anyone that knew of the Red Wizards would. Zastan was a powerful lich that ruled the land of Thay, driving many of the Red Wizards out of their ancestral homeland. The book was locked tight, with no keyhole. There was only an angular recess in the cover. Brushing away the dirt of time, I could make out the name etched into the cover. The Necromancy of Thay. I could feel the book's pull. I could feel its power. My lips moved, speaking a language I didn't understand, and something was trying to reply. The world around me was gone. I could only see those glyphs, only hear those voices. The glyphs screamed, searing my mind. I saw time rewritten, fate undone. Black strands of weave curled all about me, only to sink as into graves as I tried to grab hold. Necromantic spells, tantalizingly powerful, slipped away forever. The book snapped closed. I'd seen too much. Not that I understood what it meant. The roaring furnace awaited an offering. A candy-sweet scent wafted forth. The Sussur bark infused the weapon from within the flames. The flames sputtered away. The sickle was mine for the taking.
Just let her go.
please.
You there? Please, I don't know what's come over these boys. I just want to go home.
The old woman's face creased with false concern. I realized she had lied about seeing this girl, Mayrina. As I edged closer to the mirror, a pale face appeared, contorted in fear. Fists slammed against the mirror's surface, again and again.
I see it! I see what's to come.
I realized there was magic at work, some type of spell, an illusion.
Me. Dead. Dead! Flesh rotten, bone shining!
I felt crushing waves of fear as a presence within the door recoiled. It couldn't let people through. Not again. A scene flashed. 2 paladins and a cleric marching through the door, shrouded in the glow of the divine. Weapons brandished, they charged the hag's lair. Screams of terror pierced the air. I saw an image of blue skies and sunshine as the door shuddered a warning. Run. Its form flickered, and I realized that the door was transparent. I saw the hag. She walked through the door, its form shimmering. The lightest touch of hope brushed my mind as the presence within retreated. I explained there were traces of decaying magic within him, likely the cause of his disease.
But that doesn't make a lick of sense. The bite ain't magical.
A great taut drum sat before me. One strike would likely ring for miles, alerting goblin reinforcements. From the far distance, I heard a blast of goblin voices. I realized my error. The drum lay before me. If they hadn't heard me before, they certainly did now.
You better learn your place. Go on. Kiss my foot. Or I'll wipe that nasty look right off your face.
End him or leave him. But don't you dare grovel to this slug.
That's more like it.
As my lips touched the filthy flesh, I caught a whiff of lavender?
Oh, did you see? He did it! Gross!
Already turned quite the profit today, so I'm feeling generous.
With a jolt, I recognized the crest she bore, the winged serpent of the Zhentarim.
Half right, sharp eyes. A Zen is a normal trader. Just a matter of what's for sale.
Maybe you don't need it. After all, you're special, ain't ya? Like me.
I felt her probing my mind, and our thoughts became entangled. A familiar sensation. She too carried a parasite. Our minds brushed against one another, but were swiftly parted.
Don't want to get intimate in front of the novices. Fair enough. Don't want anyone peeping on private matters. So... there we go. Secret and safe. Well, secret.
Psionic feelers crept across my mind, like a pickpocket's fingers seeking flaws in fabric. Sifting deeper, she saw the Mindflayer holding a wriggling tadpole to my eye. And then the vision lurched, and I was looking through her eyes as a tadpole squirmed into her skull.
Helps! We need to fish that thing out before it eats any important parts of your brain. Don't you worry. I've got everything I need to fix you. Might get a bit messy, though. You won't regret this. Being a true soul, you know the Absolute don't like to touch nothing unclean. So drink this. It'll purify ya.
I recognized telltale flecks of werejackal blood. This was a potion of sleep.
I ain't deceiving nobody. I'm trying to help. I guess we're doing this the hard way, then. Sweet dreams.
I tested the weight of the chains, looking for weak points. My muscles burned with the effort, but the chains held strong. A sharp pain shot through my arm as my collarbone dislocated. The chains held tight.
You come for a rematch? Can't wait to add the remaining eye to my collection.
I'm not here for you. I'm here for the woman. I know you took her. Where is she? Where is Mizora?
My mind was one with Wyll's. A blood-red creature consumed my vision. Wyll flushed with emotion, desire, grief, guilt, and desperation.
Tell you what, pussycat. Make this rat squeal, and I'll take you right to her.
You want me to torture him? Forget it.
Then forget your precious lady, mate, and slink out of here!
No, please!
I became one with Wyll. Shame gripped him as he considered the tools at his disposal. Wyll paused, then took a hot poker and held it against the man's leg. The prisoner howled, and the stench of charred flesh filled the room.
Stop! Please! Please! Stop this!
Wyll responded by grabbing the tongs and yanking the nail from the prisoner's thumb.
Please, please. To the east. Past the ruins and the bridge. They covered the gate with ivy.
The grove? No!
His eyes rolled back as he slumped forward.
Look at him! You got him good!
The battered man hung slack from his chains, barely breathing. The man coughed hard, but his eyes shot open and the color returned to his cheeks.
Get away. Please. No more. Help. You could have killed me. Just get these shackles off. Thank you. Please. Get me out.
The lock clicked and opened. The adventurer slept soundly, his breath steady, his wounds expertly bandaged. A glassy black surface reflecting my gaze back at me. As I gazed deeper, I felt a focus, an intent. A brief, lurching connection. The sensation of falling into my own image endlessly. Confusion, alarm, and then the presence withdrew, leaving a dull black mirror once more.
Praise his ever-bleeding axe. Praise his throne of flaming iron. Praise Maglubiet.
I knew of Maglubiet, the tyrannical deity who treated his goblinoid followers as slaves.
Trying to interrupt my prayers? Scared of a real god?
Silence now, creature. or I will silence you forever.
As she turned to me, her thoughts mingled with mine, a cold hand caressing my brain.
A true soul? Praise be. Are you here to join my hunt? Worshippers of a false god. Their existence is an insult to the Absolute's claim on this region. The thief, whimpering in our dungeon, tried to flee to their sanctuary. We will continue to remove parts of him until he tells us exactly where it is. He's been resilient, but he'll talk.
I quickly pieced together her plan. The sanctuary she was seeking was the grove I'd visited.
Speak, true soul. The hunt must begin soon. You are sure? And how did you find it? Excellent. Now, show it to me. Be my eyes.
Her mind entered mine, a splinter of ice piercing my memories. Tiefling faces flickered into view as she attempted to learn the grove's location.
Your thoughts are veiled. Why do you protect these devilkin?
Shugan al Shukok, Otashokek Dor! I command you, corpse. Speak. Reveal truth to the Absolute! Nothing. Must be reading it wrong. Shugan al Shukok!
The hobgoblin turned to me, and the parasite squirmed in my skull. I tasted the ale on his tongue and the bile in his soul.
If it isn't another true soul.
He didn't speak his next words, yet they still rattled my skull from within.
You ever talk to a dead squid? Now's your chance. No time like the present, eh? Found the squiddy near that tentacle ship. Absolute wants to know who killed it and ran off. And who better to tell us than the corpse?
My skull sizzled with Ragzlin's displeasure. His mouth was still, but I heard his demand.
I speak for the Absolute, and I say, you stay. I've got plans for you, boy. And there's no true soul yet who turned their back on the Absolute.
I choked on black smoke as the hobgoblin screeched his incantation.
I command you, corpse. Speak and say sooth. Lucan ok al koldek shulko kek.
The hideous corpse rose, tentacles writhing. My heart seized. What if the creature noted my presence at the crash site? Ragzlin's mind reeled, then calmed. He would speak as I commanded. I navigated carefully. With Ragzlin's voice, I asked,
What were you doing in Faerun?
Ragzlin scowled, shocked by his own words, and a jolt shot through my skull. The creature spoke in visions, a swarm of Githyanki dragon riders, silver blades held high. Control panels melting, flesh pods spilled open.
Get on the hunt. They know something.
He was suspicious, confused by the question that fell from his lips. I proceeded carefully.
Why were the Gith chasing that ship?
I saw dark tunnels lit by noxious pools of brine. The darkness spread through the earth. The sky split open, and nautiloids poured out of a void that consumed the stars.
What in the...
Suspicion flooded Ragzlin's mind. My brain howled as I forced a final query into his throat.
Who killed you?
Again, a vision came to me. A memory, seen through the creature's soul-dead eyes. I saw a clawed hand open a holding pod. Devoid of flesh, only darkness.
Oh, come on!
The corpse collapsed, silent once more.
No, no! I'm not done!
Irritation eclipsed his suspicions, and Ragzlin's mind rested.
Riddles, all of it! And nothing to show for the trouble but rotting squid meat! The damned drow was right. Can't let her get all the glory. The raid started already. Let's hope she's in trouble and needs help. You, get to the grove. Help the drow Minthara kill the lot. Well, don't just stand there. Move!
This is it, people! Weapons ready! Eyes to the front! Anyone who takes down a warg gets their choice of cut tonight. By Amarnator's eternal sun, none of us are dying today.
A splinter of ice worked its way into my mind.
A pretty speech. It almost brings a tear to my eye.
Now slit his throat and open that gate. The Absolute wants all of them dead. I'll dissect you.
You're still glowing from battle. On my honor, you've never looked more handsome.
I smelled ale and smoke as Wyll leaned in. His lips were but inches from mine.
May I?
And then, an ache gripped my head. I saw a flash, bronze hair, pale skin, and it was gone.
Pardon, just a bit woozy. Now, where were we?
When the image came, the pain was sharper than before, like a Mindflayer scraping its claws across my skull. This time, I saw a full face, a woman, skin pale as the moon, lips impossibly pink. But then she changed. Pale skin turned to red, horns pushed through her hair. Her smile cut through my desire like a blade.
Damn it! Must she ruin everything? I'm sorry. It's not supposed to be this way. Really? I'd like that.
Wyll had slept next to me. He was still there when my eyes opened.
I'd forgotten what it was like to feel safe. I'm used to being the hero. Not so used to needing one. It means so much to hear those words from you. I wish I could give more in return. My flesh, at least. Something deeper, were you to ask it. But only a free man can give himself fully. Until my pact is broken, I'm never free. Did you not feel my lips against yours? Have you forgotten the heat of our bodies pressed to each other? Hand over heart, I would feel it again, and more still, once I'm rid of her. Come on. We've much to do and little time for it.
The beast reeked of brimstone and offal. Every breath was thick with blood. I heard what came next before I saw it. The sharp snapping of bones and a yelp of pain as her body started to twist and undulate. Bones snapped as the hyena was hollowed from the inside out, forming a vessel for something new. She seemed confused, half snapping at me, half nuzzling into my hand. Then she was gone. Her belly split like a rotten fruit, birthing a frenzy of claws and fangs. With a shock of psychic pain, the pack leader's mind clamped onto mine. I saw myself through her eyes, a pulsing red cluster of organs. Feast. No. The voice had forbidden this meat. Gnolls saw our whole world as a meal. I realized this voice was acting as a leash, but it wouldn't hold them for long. A memory. The beast daubed the symbol of the Absolute on a cave wall in blood. Buried deep, a tadpole struggled to assert control against the ravenous chaos of her mind. Sensing my presence, the Gnoll's tadpole writhed in ecstasy, echoing my command. Its host would feast on Gnoll flesh to control the hunger, to keep her teeth from my throat. She was still ravenous, her mind a hungry pit. The flesh of her pack hadn't been enough to satisfy her. My tadpole wriggled, contented, as the Gnoll tore at her own throat.
Don't help them. Don't tell them a thing. We're dead if you do.
You haggle with your own life, fool. Be silent and hold still.
He began to move his hand in a quick flurry of gestures.
Nothing even approaching a useful thought in that skull. I ought to just kill you.
It's not too deep. Just behind the orbital socket. I could attempt an extraction. I've a needle in my tunic, after all.
Volo carefully held one of my eyes open and began to prod uncertainly with the needle. The needle found the gap between eyeball and socket. Volo frowned and began to push. Pain shot through my body as the needle snagged on my optic nerve.
I think I have it!
The needle seesawed back and forth, plucking the nerve like a harpstring.
Oh, bother. There's some obstacle in the way. I shall need a more robust implement.
Volo carefully withdrew the needle from my eye. Then, reaching into his bag, he produced an ice pick. Volo slowly brought the ice pick closer to my eye.
Now, don't move.
Cold metal pressed against the skin beneath my brow, and then... tap. Tap. Stab.
Do you feel that? Ha! I think we have the blighter on the run. I agree. It's a feisty critter. Just a little further.
Volo tore the pick from my brain with a violent jerk. My eye plopped to the ground.
Drat.
He paused, looked down at my eye as it sank into the mud, and recoiled slightly.
Flesh Talker, I show you a memory. Watch and listen.
A violent vision gripped me. Dwagar, dark dwarves, chopping Myconid remains.
They broke our peace. They killed our young.
The Sovereign's song slowed to the pace of a dirge. It was still in mourning.
We laid waste to many, but intruders remain. Lakewood.
The Sovereign's song halted as it measured my worth.
I sense your resolve. You will find Dwegar invaders near Lake's Edge. Cleanse the rot. Destroy them.
Deep purple swirled into familiar shapes. Gnomes in mining gear, chased by Dwegar.
The Dwegar seek a gnome. It is a guest.
The music shifted. Still melancholic, but now streaked with hope.
Do you hear? A new harmony. Serenity. I name you Peace Bringer. Reach into memory. Tell me of home.
It shivered in response to the deathly tomb and revealed its own home, a humid cove filled with decaying Myconid corpses.
Dwegar destroyed my people. I am a sovereign with no circle. No. I feel the fair's rest fading. I cannot leave the Underdark.
I felt it too. The Underdark's magical energy. The fair Zeress slipped from my grasp.
Choose, soul mind. Help me grow a mighty circle and reap the reward, or protect the precious fortune as it waits the circle of Gut to devour it whole. It is my right. It is my right.
Its delicate harmonies turned to scrapes and scratches.
Your corpse will birth my circle.
Ah, a visitor. You're a welcome sight. But let us observe the customs of the locals.
The scholar's brow tensed. His voice spilled into my skull as the spores connected our minds.
Blurg, proud member of the Society of Brilliance, at your service. Or perhaps not. Your mind is far more complex than the fungi. I observed the fight from it. It's curious to find a surface dweller here. Truly remarkable. You must be worried. I have a... Omeluum!
I hope this is important, Blurg. My Zerkwood samples need constant attention.
It is. This adventurer has an illithid tadpole inside his head, but he hasn't turned.
No cerebral That's impossible. But in tree, are you looking to have it extracted? Open your mind to me. Let us see what lurks within.
The moment Omeluum's mind pierced mine, the tadpole pulsed with power. It felt 10 times its size. Alive. Awake. Almost smug. A flimsy raft wobbled on the lake's murky waters. As I neared the rubble, a fragmented voice clutched at my mind.
A true soul. This is near. Tell those imbeciles to hurry up. I am choking on poison. My sergeant is dead, I see.
Nir's eyes snapped from the dead Dwegar to me. His mind was a cold claw in my head, digging for memories. I saw the drow cursing at the fallen rocks, then carving through the deep gnomes in his rage.
My. You have as much finesse as a rabid Rothe, in both fighting and matters of the mind. Still, I cannot argue with the results. You will make an adequate replacement. These defective slaves caused the cave-in. Eliminate them. That is not an option.
He grasped my mind and pried it open. Rage flooded my senses. I had to kill. Tear the gnomes apart. Laugh as their blood showered me and filled me with life. For a terrible moment, my hand twitched. Then the rage subsided. I was in control.
Dwega, kill this one! Show you aren't useless and I will let you live!
The corpse stirred. Dead flesh laced with magic.
Araden, Benno, my group, Benno boys, adventurer, by legacy.
The corpse jerked. It would speak no more. The goblin's corpse grunted and spasmed.
Cold, the towers.
The dead goblin would speak no more. The corpse raised its head, bones cracking as it turned to look at me.
So, got my mother's swollen gut.
The spell's power waned. I could ask no more questions.